Chosen one, stop for a moment and listen not with your ears, but with your heart, because this message is not ordinary, and it was never meant to be. Right now, it may feel like time is slipping, like only 10 seconds remain, but this urgency is not fear, it is mercy. Allah is reaching for you in ways you may not fully see, sending signs, nudges, and awakenings that bypass logic and speak directly to the soul. The angels are not here to entertain you, they are here to deliver the commands, protection, and guidance of Allah Himself. If you feel this pull, this pressure, this stirring deep inside, know this: you are being reminded, awakened, and prepared. The distractions of the world are trying to pull you away, but Allah is calling, and this moment is your invitation to respond. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear could change the course of your life, strengthen your faith, and illuminate the path that only the chosen ones are meant to walk. Chosen one, listen closely, for what you are feeling right now, the weight in your chest, the pull in your heart, the sense that time is running out is not a punishment or a random wave of anxiety. It is a profound act of divine mercy, a rare and sacred nudge from Allah Himself that only those whom He is grooming, refining, and preparing for greater purpose ever experience, and it carries with it the unmistakable truth that your soul is being called to awaken before the distractions, illusions, and delays of this world take hold. Understand that urgency in the spiritual realm is never meant to break you, but to protect you, to shake the soul awake like a parent calling their child back from danger, to remind you that the world has layers of deception that can entrap even the wisest if the heart is distracted, and that the pressure you feel, the restlessness stirring in your spirit, is actually a blessing disguised as tension, because it signals that Allah has not abandoned you, that He sees your potential, and that He is reaching out personally, intimately, to redirect you toward what is real, what is eternal, and what aligns with your divinely appointed destiny. Every sensation of urgency, every sudden awareness of your mortality, every fleeting thought that whispers, "Now is the time," is a divine alarm, a celestial whisper that asks you to reconsider the choices you are making, to align your intentions, to cleanse your heart, and to prioritize what truly matters before it is too late. This urgency is a sign that your life is on a pivotal threshold, that the seconds you may have taken for granted are now potent with opportunity, and that the moment you choose to respond, even if it feels small or imperfect, is a moment in which Allah's mercy envelops you and reshapes the trajectory of your existence, because He is always watching, always guiding, and always calling those He has chosen toward light, toward submission, and toward the purpose that only the divine knows is written for them. And so, do not ignore this feeling, do not push it aside, do not rationalize it away with excuses, for it is a rare, precious, and powerful mercy that reaches you directly, telling your soul, awaken, return, ify, and act now, because the urgency you feel is the proof that Allah still seeks you, still values you, and still desires your closeness before the door narrows and the opportunity slips into the realm of what could have been. Let this awareness sink deep into your being. Let it awaken gratitude, humility, and immediate action, for the urgency is not chaos. It is the voice of Allah's mercy echoing through your life, reminding you that even if everything else fails, He has never failed you. And this call is your invitation to realign with the divine, to listen without hesitation, and to respond with sincerity, because in this urgency lies the protection, the guidance, and the awakening that transforms a life from distraction to destiny, from heedlessness to illumination, and from being lost in the world to being firmly chosen by Allah for what only He knows you were always meant to become. Chosen one, understand this deeply, for it is one of the most profound truths that separates those who are truly guided from those who merely exist in distraction. Allah does not abandon the hearts He has chosen, nor does He allow them to be left adrift without correction, without warning, or without care. And this is why the chosen are always reached before they are replaced. For every soul that carries divine potential is attended by unseen forces, nudged, corrected, and awakened before their role in the world is shifted or transferred. And this reaching is not accidental, nor is it a gentle suggestion. It is a divine orchestration that manifests in ways both subtle and unmistakable, in thoughts that disrupt complacency, in feelings that stir urgency, in circumstances that break patterns, and in encounters that illuminate hidden truths. When you feel discomfort, doubt, or restlessness, know that it is not chaos, but the loving intervention of Allah's guidance, reminding you that your place in His plan is too precious to be ignored and too vital to be replaced without notice. And this is why, even before others can step into positions meant for you, you are shaken awake, prepared, and aligned, because Allah prioritizes preservation over loss, preparation over neglect, and connection over abandonment. Every delay, every moment of internal unrest, every pressure on your conscience is a divine whisper that says, I am still here, I am still guiding, I am still reaching for you, and it is proof that you are among the chosen. For those who are replaceable are left in ignorance and apathy, while those who are chosen are engaged directly, intimately, and repeatedly by the unseen, by circumstances, and by moments of clarity that cannot be ignored. This is why you may feel that life has been pressing on you more than others, that opportunities appear just out of reach, that challenges arrive precisely when you least expect them. For each of these is a signal that Allah has not forsaken you, that your role in the divine tapestry is unique, and that He is reaching for you now, before the positions you hold, the relationships you influence, and the missions you carry can be shifted to someone else. Recognize that this reaching is not punishment, but protection, not limitation, but elevation, not a threat, but a blessing. Because Allah always chooses to act before He allows what is irreplaceable in His sight to be altered or lost. And so, when your heart is stirred, when your soul feels unsettled, when life shakes the ground beneath your feet, know that it is a divine intervention, a sign that you are still valued, still noticed, and still being prepared for the roles, responsibilities, and triumphs that only you are destined to fulfill. And in this reaching lies a sacred promise, that Allah does not discard what He has chosen. He only realigns, He only awakens, and He only corrects, ensuring that those who are truly meant to shine will never be replaced before their light is fully ready to illuminate the world. Chosen one, pay close attention, for the angels who touch your life, who guide your steps, who stir your heart, are never independent actors. They are messengers, obedient servants carrying the commands, guidance, and mercy of Allah alone. And when you feel the presence of unseen forces, the sudden clarity, the nudges that shift your decisions, or the inexplicable protection that shields you in ways no human hand can, it is not the angels themselves speaking from desire, pride, or curiosity, but Allah Himself reaching through them to communicate with your soul in ways that bypass logic, bypass distraction, and bypass the limitations of the material world. Understand that every whisper, every sudden awareness, every impulse to act, pray, or pause is a reflection of divine orchestration, a signal that the unseen realm is actively shaping your path according to His will, and that these forces are aligned not to impress you, but to awaken you, to protect you, to redirect you, and to ensure that the purpose for which you were chosen is never derailed by negligence, doubt, or delay. When you sense an angelic presence, when a thought or feeling is so powerful it seems impossible to ignore, remember that the source is Allah, the ultimate knower, the ultimate planner, and that the messenger exists solely to deliver what has been decreed, to execute the commands of the Most High with precision and care, so that your soul can recognize the signs, your heart can respond to the guidance, and your life can remain aligned with the divine purpose intended for you alone. This is why the C.S. chosen ones are often sensitive to the unseen, aware of the extraordinary in ordinary moments, and unsettled by the ordinary that no longer serves the higher plan. Because the angel's work is not random, it is meticulously targeted to maintain the integrity of your destiny, to awaken the dormant potentials within you, and to nudge you back whenever you drift from the path of sincerity, obedience, and alignment with Allah's commands. Do not mistake the messenger for the source, for angels have no authority of their own, no will that supersedes divine decree, and no intervention outside the scope of Allah's plan. And this is precisely why when their presence is felt, it is both humbling and clarifying, a reminder that every protection, every warning, every inspiration, and every moment of clarity in your life is the direct manifestation of Allah's mercy, care, and active guidance, ensuring that even if the world conspires to distract you, even if hearts turn cold around you, and even if circumstances seem chaotic or unfair, the divine is always present, always orchestrating, always speaking through the unseen to preserve the soul of the chosen, to illuminate the path, and to deliver the message that no matter what happens, Allah is the ultimate source of all that guides, protects, awakens, and elevates, and the angels are only His instruments, moving silently and powerfully, unseen yet undeniably present, to ensure that the chosen never lose touch with the divine, and that every call, every message, every sign reaches you with precision, urgency, and love. Chosen one, underst, and this with the depth of your soul. The final calls from Allah are never meant to terrify with noise, nor are they intended to overwhelm with spectacle. They arrive quietly, yet with a clarity so piercing that the heart cannot deny them, so precise that the soul recognizes the truth even before the mind can rationalize it, and so unavoidable that hesitation becomes impossible. For this is the way the divine communicates with those He has chosen, through subtle awakenings, undeniable insights, sudden realizations, and moments of clarity that strip away illusion, remove excuses, and illuminate the path that must be taken. When you feel a sudden shift within yourself, when your heart grows restless in ways that cannot be ignored, when the mundane begins to feel hollow and your soul aches for purpose, this is the final call making itself known, a reminder that the life you have been living may no longer serve the destiny Allah has designed for you, and that the doors which were once open for comfort, distraction, or delay are now narrowing, urging you to move with sincerity, urgency, and full attention. Know that this call is never loud, because it does not need to be. Those who are meant to hear it will hear it with the heart, with the soul, and with the deepest awareness of what is at stake. For the chosen are attuned to the subtle signals of the unseen, to the whispers of the divine, and to the signs that pierce the veil of ordinary life. And the clarity they experience is a blessing disguised as intensity, a mercy that wakes the sleeper without overwhelming the spirit, a hand, extended in love and correction before the moment to act passes. Recognize that this clarity may manifest as discomfort, as doubt, as the sudden inability to continue in ways that once felt safe or acceptable, and that the internal tension, the restlessness, and the unease are not punishments but wake-up calls, divine interventions that prepare the soul to respond with sincerity, to purify intentions, and to return fully to Allah while the opportunity is still alive. For He knows that only when distraction is removed, when illusions are stripped away, and when the heart is shaken into awareness, can the chosen fully embrace the responsibilities, the missions, and the light that has been reserved for them. This final call is precise because it is meant to awaken your awareness of time, to sharpen your focus on the truth, and to ignite a response that is free of delay, hesitation, or compromise, reminding you that every moment now carries significance, every choice reflects destiny, and every action aligns with the purpose Allah has designed for you. And so, when you feel the clarity, when the soul whispers and the heart insists, do not ignore it, do not rationalize it, do not postpone obedience, because this is not ordinary guidance, it is the culmination of mercy, love, and divine orchestration, a moment that separates those who merely hear from those who respond, those who drift from those who rise, and those who remain in darkness, from those who step into the light that has been prepared for them from eternity. And the beauty of this call is that it is unmistakable, undeniable, and transformative. And if you respond with sincerity, humility, and immediacy, you will find that the path forward, though challenging, is illuminated, precise, and aligned with the plan that only Allah, the All-Knowing, could have orchestrated, and that every step you take in response to this quiet yet powerful clarity carries blessings, protection, and elevation far beyond what the world can offer, confirming once more that the chosen are never left unheard, never left unguided, and never left to navigate destiny without the divine hand leading them. Even when the call is silent to everyone else, it is unmistakable to you, and it is this clarity that prepares you for the mission, the trials, and the triumphs that are reserved only for those who hear, recognize, and act. Chosen one, hear this deeply, for it is a truth that carries both urgency and mercy. The door of repentance is vast, wide, and open longer than most of us realize, yet it is not infinite, and Allah, in His infinite wisdom and mercy, allows it to remain open just long enough for the sincere heart to return before distraction, heedlessness, and the weight of the world harden the soul and cloud the path to salvation. Understand that every moment you have lived, every misstep, every choice, every sin that weighed on your conscience or passed unnoticed is being held not as punishment, but as preparation, as a reminder, as a call to awaken. And the beauty of this mercy is that it does not close abruptly, it recedes gradually, allowing the heart to recognize its mistakes, to feel the weight of deviation, and to be moved by the awareness that life is finite and every second counts. The chosen ones feel this more profoundly than others, for their hearts are alive, sensitive, and attuned to the subtle reminders of Allah, and this sensitivity is itself a sign of divine selection, a mark that their souls are being prepared for greater responsibilities, higher wisdom, and missions that extend beyond themselves. Every pang of regret, every stirring of the conscience, every whisper of return that seems to come from nowhere is not random, but a deliberate, merciful act by Allah to nudge the soul back toward alignment, to preserve the dignity of the heart, and to remind the chosen that no matter how far they feel, the door is still open, and every sincere step taken now carries weight. Beyond comprehension, recognize that repentance is not a moment of weakness, but an act of strength, an acknowledgement that the human heart can err, but that Allah's mercy is vast, and the act of turning back, even after years of neglect or misguidance, is what distinguishes the faithful from the heedless, the chosen from the ordinary, and the elevated from the distracted. For in repentance there is purification, renewal, and the restoration of the soul to its intended state of closeness to Allah. The door may seem to remain open indefinitely, but it is a test, a balance between divine patience and divine justice, and the longer it remains open, the more urgent it becomes to act. For distractions multiply, the heart grows accustomed to comfort, and the whispers of the world become louder than the whispers of the divine. Every moment you delay, every excuse you cling to, every rationalization you accept, pushes the soul closer to missing the window that was intentionally left ajar. Yet this mercy continues, gently, subtly, persistently, until the heart awakens or until the consequences of neglect become undeniable. And this is why the chosen feel an intensity, a pull, a pressure, a weight in the chest. For it is the call of Allah, the echo of the doors slowly closing, urging them to act before the opportunity passes. Understand that repentance is not merely saying words, it is a full surrender, a complete turning, a purification of intentions, a commitment to abandon what displeases Allah and to embrace what He loves. And when done sincerely, it does not only erase what came before, it elevates what comes after, aligning every action, every decision, every relationship, and every plan with the mercy, guidance, and wisdom of Allah. For He does not leave the soul to wander aimlessly once it has chosen to return, but He fills it with light, direction, and clarity. The chosen ones recognize this, for they feel the weight of divine attention, the presence of guidance in unseen ways, and the urgency in subtle awakenings, and they respond by embracing the mercy while it is available, moving swiftly toward purification, prayer, and obedience, understanding that every sincere act now, every tear, every whispered dua, every honest turning is magnified in value, elevated in reward, and preserved in the unseen ledger of Allah. And so, chosen one, do not delay, do not rationalize, do not underestimate the mercy that still reaches you. For repentance is the bridge between what was lost and what can be regained, between darkness and light, between error and alignment. And every sincere step you take toward Allah while the door remains open is a step into protection, elevation, and fulfillment of the destiny that only the chosen are prepared to carry. And know this: the door closes slowly, but every heartbeat brings it closer, every distraction moves it slightly, and every moment of heedlessness distances the soul from the mercy that is so deliberately, patiently, and persistently being extended to you now. And therefore, chosen one, move without hesitation, return without reservation, and embrace the mercy that flows endlessly from the most compassionate, the most merciful, the one who has designed your trials, your awakenings, and your destiny with perfect precision. For the act of turning back, when done sincerely, transforms not only the past but the entirety of your life yet to come. Chosen one, understand this deeply, for the life you are living, the heart you carry, and the soul that stirs within you were never meant to exist solely in comfort, ease, or the illusion of safety. For Allah has chosen you for more than temporary pleasures, fleeting distractions, and the shallow security that the world offers, and the very restlessness, unease, and inner stirring you feel at times is not an accident. It is a divine signal, a wake-up call, a merciful prod designed to remind you that your soul is meant for missions far greater than self-indulgence, far higher than conformity, and far more impactful than the paths of those who settle for comfort without purpose. For the chosen ones are not called to remain passive observers of life, nor are they summoned merely to enjoy the rewards of existence. They are summoned to walk through trials, endure challenges, and embrace responsibilities that are often unseen, misunderstood, and even resisted by those around them. And it is precisely in these moments of discomfort that the soul is refined, the heart is strengthened, and the spirit is prepared for the magnitude of its true calling. For ease is seductive and comforting, but it is rarely transformative, while discomfort, challenge, and pressure, when met with patience, trust, and obedience, are the forge in which greatness, wisdom, and divine impact are created. The divine has placed you in situations that stretch the limits of your endurance, that test your faith, and that challenge your attachment to worldly pleasures, not to punish you, but to awaken the latent potential within you, to reveal the strength, courage, and resilience that reside in the heart of the chosen, and to ensure that when the moment arrives for you to step fully into the destiny prepared for you, you are not only capable, but you are transformed into the exact instrument required for the task. For the trials you resist, the discomfort you endure, and the sacrifices you make in alignment with divine will are never wasted. And every moment you prioritize purpose over pleasure, mission over ease, and obedience over comfort is recorded in the unseen, magnified in value, and preserved in a ledger that only Allah sees. For the chosen are never left to navigate greatness untested, nor are they elevated without preparation. And this is why the path of the chosen often feels heavy, lonely, and burdensome, because the weight they carry is not ordinary. It is the weight of responsibility for themselves, for others, and for the missions that span far beyond the reach of the ordinary heart. And it is precisely this weight that separates the chosen from the distracted, the awakened from the asleep, and the elevated from the complacent. For comfort, while alluring, rarely produces leaders, visionaries, or souls capable of altering destinies, whereas the trials, pressure, and discomfort that you face are the instruments of elevation, the tools of refinement, and the proof that Allah has entrusted you with a mission that is larger than what the eye can see and heavier than what the heart can bear without divine support. Understand, chosen one, that this calling may come with challenges, may prove calm to place, too. Challenges that seem insurmountable, with obstacles that appear unfair, with pressures that feel unbearable. But this is the way the divine shapes the soul to rise above ordinary limitations, to operate on levels that transcend human comprehension, and to illuminate paths for others that would remain dark without your light. For ease is the companion of the ordinary, but challenge is the ally of the extraordinary. And it is only when you step beyond comfort, embrace the weight of responsibility, and surrender fully to the divine mission that you realize the extent of your true potential, the reach of your influence, and the magnitude of the role you have been appointed to fulfill. For the chosen are never satisfied with mediocrity, never content with the familiar, and never complacent with what feels safe, because they carry within them a calling that exceeds comfort, a destiny that transcends desire, and a purpose that can only be achieved when worldly ease is set aside in favor of divine alignment. And so, every moment of discomfort, every sacrifice of convenience, every choice to endure for the sake of purpose is a confirmation that you are walking the path of the chosen, that your calling is active, that your mission is real, and that the world is being prepared to receive the impact that only you, in your obedience, patience, and surrender, can deliver. And understand further that the whispers of doubt, the heaviness in your chest, and the longing for ease are tests from Allah, designed to separate fleeting courage from enduring faith, superficial desire from true purpose, and ordinary hearts from those He has specifically chosen. And it is precisely this alignment with discomfort, this embrace of divine purpose over personal convenience, that guarantees the elevation, protection, and fulfillment that awaits those who answer the call. For no chosen one has ever risen by clinging to comfort. No legacy has ever been built by avoiding challenge, and no mission that matters to Allah has ever been accomplished without surrendering what feels easy in favor of what is necessary. And when you fully grasp this, chosen one, you realize that every restless night, every difficult choice, every path that seemed lonely, treacherous, or uncertain is part of the divine design, shaping you into the instrument, the vessel, and the leader that the world needs. And every moment you resist comfort in favor of purpose is a step into your true destiny, a step that Allah Himself has ordained, illuminated, and blessed. For your calling is larger than your comfort, and it is only when you embrace this truth with your whole heart that you step fully into the greatness for which you were chosen. Chosen one, hear this with every fiber of your being, for the ultimate distinction between those who are truly chosen and those who remain lost is not in the trials they face, not in the blessings they receive, and not in the signs that are sent to them, but in their willingness to respond, to act, and to surrender completely to the will of Allah. For the chosen are constantly reached, constantly reminded, and constantly tested in ways that the ordinary heart cannot comprehend. Yet it is the response, the movement, the turning, the sincere action that solidifies their place on the path, elevates their soul, and transforms their life into a vessel of divine purpose, while those who ignore, rationalize, delay, or doubt, even in the presence of undeniable signs, drift further away, becoming part of the lost whose hearts are heavy with neglect, whose lives are stagnant, and whose souls have been robbed of opportunity by their own hesitation. And this response is not measured by grand gestures, public declarations, or visible achievements, but by the sincerity of intention, the humility of the heart, the courage to act despite fear, and the resilience to continue when the path feels overwhelming. For Allah does not demand perfection. He demands sincerity, effort, and submission. And it is in this alignment that the chosen find their strength, their clarity, and their fulfillment. Understand, chosen one, that the reminders, urgencies, and awakenings you feel are themselves proofs that you are among the chosen. For Allah does not disturb the hearts of those who are indifferent or unprepared, but He calls, nudges, and awakens those He intends to elevate. And every whisper, every insight, every stirring of the conscience is a divine hand extended, offering guidance, protection, and opportunity to realign before the door narrows. Yet the gift of being reached comes with responsibility, and that responsibility is to respond, to act, and to commit fully to the path laid out by the most merciful, the most compassionate, the one who knows what the soul is, capable of, and what the world needs. And it is in the act of responding that the soul is transformed from potential to actuality, from dormant light to illuminating presence, from mere existence to purposeful impact. For those who respond experience the tangible manifestations of Allah's mercy, guidance, and blessings in ways that the lost cannot even imagine, and they become instruments of change, sources of inspiration, and living testimonies that divine selection is not theoretical but active, and that obedience, action, and alignment with Allah are the true markers of the chosen. Recognize, chosen one, that ignoring the call, delaying action, or succumbing to hesitation is not just a personal loss. It is the squandering of divine trust, a missed opportunity to fulfill the mission that only you are prepared to carry. And every moment you procrastinate, every doubt you entertain, and every rationalization you accept distances you from the elevation, clarity, and purpose that Allah has reserved for you. For the lost do not hear as you hear, they do not perceive as you perceive, and they do not have the same opportunity to act with immediacy and sincerity, and this is why response is sacred, urgent, and non-negotiable, for the chosen are not defined merely by potential, signs, or knowledge, but by their ability to act on what they have been given, to turn awareness into obedience, insight into action, and guidance into transformation. And when you respond, chosen one, you step into a reality that is beyond what the world can offer, beyond what the heart alone can imagine, and into a destiny that has been meticulously prepared by Allah. For every action you take in response to His call is magnified, multiplied, and preserved in a ledger that spans both seen and unseen worlds, shaping not only your life, but the lives of countless others whose paths are touched by your obedience, your courage, and your alignment with divine will. And so, understand deeply that to respond is not optional, to delay is not neutral, and to act with sincerity is the defining moment that separates those who are chosen from those who are lost. For the chosen hear, recognize, and act, while the lost hear, ignore, and drift. And it is in this decisive act of response that destiny is secured, the soul is elevated, and the mercy, guidance, and blessings of Allah are fully realized, proving once again that those who answer, move, and surrender are the ones who fulfill their divine purpose, step into their intended legacy, and shine as living proof of the power, wisdom, and mercy of the one who chose them before time began. Chosen one, take a deep breath and let this sink in. Every lesson you have just heard is not mere words. It is a direct call from Allah, a reminder from the unseen, and a spark meant to awaken what has been quietly stirring within your soul. The angels have reached you, the signs have surrounded you, and the urgency you feel is not coincidence, it is mercy, it is guidance, and it is the hand of Allah itself reaching out before it is too late. What separates the chosen from the rest is not knowledge, not power, and not circumstance, it is response. Will you heed the call? Will you surrender fully, act sincerely, and step into the path that only you are destined to walk? Every moment you delay is a moment the door narrows, yet every sincere step you take toward Allah is a step into protection, elevation, and destiny. The world may distract, the heart may hesitate, and the ego may resist, but the chosen hear, they awaken, they act, and their lives become living proof of divine mercy, guidance, and purpose. So do not wait, do not rationalize, do not ignore this call. Rise now, turn fully to Allah, embrace the mercy that is reaching you, and let your life reflect the power, the light, and the purpose that only the chosen are capable of fulfilling. Share this message, remind others, and declare in your heart, Ya Allah, I respond to you. The time is now, the moment is yours, and the mission is waiting. Walk into it with courage, faith, and unwavering submission. For Allah has chosen you for greatness, and greatness always answers the call.